Welcome back to another video, boys. I think it's another video, maybe it's not. I was up real late last night doing wiring on the harness, and some things have transpired. A lot of things have gotten completed, but you know, as they say, one step forward, two steps back. Yeah. However, everything that needs to be added to the harness is there. We have the IAB that's been put into the harness, all the way up to the fucking little buckle connector here, or whatever you fucking call them. Knock sensor is wired up. It's in, and again, wired up to this connector right here. Our VTEC solenoid, and again, right to the buckle connector. However, I did run into a bump in the road, and of course, I didn't do my homework. I kind of fucked off and didn't check to see which distributor this thing came with. I just assumed it would be like the last H22 swap I did, be a 10 pin. Nope, it's an 8 pin. And what did I order before the engine got here? A 10 pin. And when did I decide to look at it? Yeah, last night. I want to take a brief minute to talk about all the broken shit, because I really haven't talked about it too much on the channel yet. So there's plenty of broken shit that came broken when the freight truck dropped it off. So not only was my throttle position sensor broken, that was broken, had to get a new one of those. PCV valve was broken. The knock sensor, either I broke it or it was already broken. I'm leaning towards it was already broken, and I just fucking broke it the rest of the way. Our IAB solenoid vacuum box was broken. All the nipples were snapped off of it, these guys. What I ended up doing was drilling them out a little bit so I could fit some hardline that I had laying around. And I cut those with a grinder and glued them in, and hopefully that holds. Should be good. Yeah, so that's about that. Also, I didn't order it yet, but I'm not that concerned about it. But the auto air control valve on these F20bs, I'm pretty sure this was an automatic version. That's why it's got this stupid 3-pin auto air control valve. It's just not gonna work for what I want it to do. But I mean, simply because the F22 B2 uses the 2-pin, and I mean, I could rewire this and use the crappy idle air control valve that comes with this thing, but nobody likes them. They're junk, and one day the WAGs is gonna get tuned, and it wouldn't work with the P28 that I have ready for this car. So what I'm gonna do, which I should have did last night, but I was too busy thinking about the jumper harness for the distributor, I should have ordered the adapter plate that they make so you can run an H22 or F22 idle air control valve, which I'm gonna order, but I'm in no rush to order it because it really doesn't matter. All I'm gonna do for now is loop these 2 lines and call it a fucking day, because who really fucking cares? It's gonna work just fine. I mean, it might idle a little funny, but who gives a shit? But yeah, plenty of broken stuff. One other thing that I did last night, which I always do when I'm doing swaps, is I tucked the injector harness, which I still have to put the cover back on. But normally you have the injector harness come up and go over the rail. I like to go underneath the rail and shove them through these little channels here, which, I mean, it always looks way cleaner. I always like the minimalistic look when it comes to wires, because that's the way to go, because it looks better. It just overall looks better. Also got the F20b 2 crank pulley put on so I can run the power steering, and I'm gonna be swapping, I'm gonna be swapping out this alternator because it's a different plug. Also, I forgot to mention that I, swapped over to the OBD2 fuel injector connectors as well. So we're gonna be pressure washing the engine bay, getting all the gunk off, which honestly, it's not the worst I've ever seen, so it really shouldn't be that bad. So we're gonna pressure wash this, and I'm gonna finish the wiring on the engine computer side of the harness, and we're just gonna keep this fucking thing moving, dude. Basically, my goal is to have everything done so I could drop this motor in tomorrow. All right, boys. I'll see you in the next clip. Boys, as you probably just seen, I and myself just pressure washed this engine bay. Yeah, but it hasn't came out exactly as good as I want it to, but it's I kind of expected that, so it is what it is. This is as good as it's gonna get. So all that grime that was on the fucking frame is gone. But for some reason, the paint they used on these old Hondas just does not hold up very well in the engine bays. They must have sprayed them extra thin, because there's paint coming up all over the place. And as I was pressure washing it more and more, it was just flying off. It is what it is. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get cracking on the engine computer side of the wiring. I think I'm gonna try and stay out here as long as I can tonight, and get the clutch on, or the flywheel, the clutch, pressure plate, all that shit bolted together. Well. Hey boys, coming to you live from the engine bay, you know what I mean? Alright, so we are about 99% done with the wiring on this fucking engine swap here. So take a little look-see. We have our VTEC wire, we have our I believe this is knock sensor, and then we have our intake air bypass valve solenoid wire. Boom, we're ready to rock, boys. We're ready to rock. We are ready to fucking rock and roll. All I need to do is verify the pin out for each pin, make sure they all go in the right spot, and we are good to wrap this shit up. I actually think I am might need to go get some electrical tape. That's about it. So once this is completed, where I pop the pins in the ECU connectors, we can move forward. Damn, this shit is kind of shitty. Why do I insist on wearing flip-flops when I'm crawling in and out of engine bays? Because I'm kind of dumb. That's probably why. We got our old computer out. Bingo, bango, bingo, bingo. POJ manual F20b2 computer. Gonna be swapping that for a PCB. We've got our VTEC wire. We've got our I think knock sensor, and then the intake air bypass valve. So what we're gonna need to do is figure out which pins each one belongs into, and then we're ready to seal it up and start working on the engine again. All right, sounds like a lot of fun. I know. I'll check back in once I figure out which pins are the correct pins. All right, boys, We're back. Hopefully I don't have dirt on my face like in that one clip where I looked like I had a giant booger. However, the wiring is officially complete. So here in A8, so this larger gray connector, guys, is your A connector, as they identify in some of these diagrams. A8 is where our VTEC solenoid goes, and then we have the IAB at A28, which is this guy right here, I believe. Double check that. Yeah, it's definitely an A28. If you come over to connector D, the smaller gray connector, where this green wire is, if you can see that I'm pointing at, this green wire is our knock sensor in pin D6. So that's that. All that shit is done. I learned something new though. Apparently, the terminals on connector D are different than the rest of them, and I had no idea, which kind of sucked because I had to fucking redo the one wire, but it's all good. Who really gives a shit? However, while the wiring is done, don't quote me on any of this shit, guys. I mean, I've done this before, but I don't know, it's always kind of confusing when it comes to popping these things in here, because everything you find online is for Civics and Integras. Almost nothing for Accords, and if it is for an Accord, it's for an OBD1 Accord, not an OBD2 Accord. So hopefully I'm correct, and VTEC works, intake bypass solenoid valve works, knock sensor works. We'll see. We will see. Anywho, I am going to put the new computer in on that tray that I tossed back there somewhere, and yeah, and then we're gonna move on to doing some other shit. All right. What's going on, boys? I haven't filmed shit because I suck at YouTube. However, if we look to your right, my left, she's about ready to go. What's in this shitty box I'm leaning on is exhaust manifold straight from China. I don't know if it's any good. I also don't know if I'm going to be able to keep my AC with it. I honestly, I just thought about that last night when I was trying to sleep, and I'm kind of nervous because we went through all this hassle to leave all this junk in there, and if we can't even use it, not so good. Anyway, Matt's behind the camera. Say hi, Matt.
Hello.
Hello. Alright, we'll crack this piece of shit open. If anybody's ever had one of these before, you know how shitty they are. This probably won't last long with it being smashed off the floor every eighth of a mile. Alright. Straight from China. We got some Chinese gaskets and hardware. Straight from Home Depot or something. They look nice. It looks nice for how cheap it is, though. Like, how much did you pay for your Megan Racing one?
I think it was $159.
$159? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Why not just order that? I thought it was more expensive. Mm-hmm. I think this was like $120. It's probably almost the exact same thing, though. Except this is probably lower quality. Oh my god.
Yeah, it looks exactly the same. Just doesn't have the badge on the top.
It's a piece of shit. You can see it's all fucked up already. Like, what is that big ass dent? You see that?
Yeah, I see it.
What the fuck? And the welds kind of look like ass. I think the welds on yours are nicer than this. Look at that. You see this fucking weld? What the fuck? I've never seen them that hot before. Sick, dude.
Mint.
Fucking mint, dude. You never seen Chinesium better than that. You know, it'd be sick if this was like long enough that I don't have to get it extended. But I don't think that's gonna be the case. I think what makes you have to get it extended on the H22s and and H23s is the deck, like the head has dual cams, so this is pushed out like 3 inches,
Tad bit more.
maybe 4 inches. I don't know. Boom. This looks a lot like yours. What the hell? What? What's inside, dude?
Cracker Jack box.
Woohoo!
Is that a washer?
I have no idea what that is, dude. Is this? No? Well, we'll see if we have the same issue with the Mega Racing one had. Because this is different.
No, mine's super thin and tall.
Yeah, this is a lot thicker, but it's... Look at how poorly done this is, though. Like, what the fuck is that? Dude, it's so bad. It's gonna be... This is gonna be flat within the first 1,000 miles. Well, that's that. So we're gonna have to put this puppy on. Flip-flops, dude. That's what you're supposed to wear when you're working on cars. Flip-flops. Whoops. I'm never sure which side is supposed to be. The right side? That looks right. Let's see how close this gets to the AC bracket. We might be good. We might be good. Find out when we try and bolt the AC compressor on. I think on one of the last clips, I was talking about the distributor not being the right distributor for the adapter I ordered from Rywire. I did some really ghetto shit. It's not too ghetto, but it's ghetto. You want to show them? It's like right in that area. It looks like fucking AIDS. It's this guy right here. I made my own adjuster harness, dude. It's super spec, you know what I mean?
Super spec. Looks nice though, from a distance.
Right? She's a 3-footer. Maybe a 6-footer. So it's good from 6 feet away. Anything more than that, you can see how ugly them welds are. Alright, boys. It's about that time. This probably makes no sense, but it's all good. We are ready to put it in. So we're gonna do a time lapse, and it's gonna look like it was really easy because it's so easy. All right?
He's lying.
Totally. boys, welcome back. I didn't film a lot of shit just because I really just wanted to get this shit done. And there was still a lot of things that, well, not a lot, but a few things that I needed to get before his bitch could turn on. I tried as hard as I could. I even made my own little ghetto jumper harness, but apparently I just didn't do something right. So, however, I got a jumper harness. Works. Bitch is running. I'm not gonna lie to you. It already has turned on. I've already taken it around the block. Everything seems pretty good. Right now, one of our main issues still is the fact that I did not, of course, again, didn't really do my homework in time. I'm late as usual. So right now, I don't have my idle air control valve connected, but in order to stop the fucking dead spot on the throttle, I connected the old F-Series idle air control valve. So she idles really high, but I don't really give a fuck. It is what it is. The other part's on its way. I'm not worried about it. All I'm worried about is getting this thing to the muffler shop so she can fucking be pretty streetable. All right, let's turn her on. All right. Yeah, see, she idles really high, but she turns on. I'm gonna take you with me for a little spinsy. Then I'm gonna drop her off at the muffler shop. All right? All right. Gotta lock up. See you in a minute, huh? All right, let's go. She gonna scrape. Hopefully I cannot rip off my rig job. Little scrape, just a little scrape. Oh. VTEC, baby! Really sounds like it fell off. Alright, boys. So, I just finished editing this episode. It's kind of all over the place. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you right now. It's kind of all over the place. But it's not that big of a deal. I mean, at the end of the day, the main point is this bitch is done. Basically done. I'm waiting on like one part. One part, guys. It's not like it's not running. Let's look at the trip gauge, boys. Let's look at the trip gauge. Alright, so I had reset it within the first drive. And that's what's it say? One I wish. 86 miles. 86 miles, boys. So we've got roughly, according to my standards, we've got roughly 114 miles till we break in this clutch. One thing I'm deciding is if I'm going to set up the IABs to run off vacuum instead of running on the solenoid, which I know is possible because when we got the H22 tuned in Matt's Accord, the tuner had switched up the routing for the vacuum lines, and he says they're operating. Well, he could be full of shit, but I think he knows what he's doing. So I might look at Matt's car rather than dealing with that stupid vacuum box and how I had to rig it up, which I think will be fine. However, I don't want to be digging back there and trying to fucking cook that up unless I fucking must do it. And being that the P28 does not use it to begin with, it's not even possible. It just doesn't have the hardware inside the ECU to do it. I'm just not interested in fucking playing with that shit and making it work. So, just look how good she looks. That's it. That's it. That's it. She's basically done. Just waiting on the IAB adapter plate. And after that's here, we're in the money. We're good to go. She runs great though. I'm just waiting for the 200-mile mark in order to really give her full throttle. I've only given her half throttle, and she feels great. Other than the high idle, she feels great. But anyway, boys, like, comment, subscribe. You know, if you want to comment and tell me how much of an idiot I am, go ahead, do it. Just fucking do it, okay? You guys, stay tuned. More stuff coming. We're really gonna try and amp up the content before it gets too fucking cold. So like, comment, subscribe, like I fucking said, and I'll see you in the next one.